also a day to reflect on the progress made in the advancement of women's issues. It is indeed a greater honor and privilege for Zimbabwe to be part of this international commemoration. In 1975, the United Nations gave official recognition to the International Women's Day, which is celebrated on the 8th of March every year. Each year, the occasion is celebrated under a different theme, which member states can adjust to suit their particular situations. The international theme for this year is Time is Now, Rural and Urban Activities Transforming Women's Lives. While our national theme is Transforming Women's Lives through Economic Empowerment. The day has become important in acknowledging the voices of women and taking note of their diversity, their different roles and circumstances. It is the day that gives women a platform to share their common concerns so that they work together towards a common goal. The objectives of this year's commemorations are as follows: to raise the national awareness on the need and importance of women's economic empowerment, to share experiences and initiatives in addressing the challenges faced by women, to network and mobilize for meaningful broad-based women's empowerment, to celebrate women's achievements, to help promote change, demolish stereotypes, and promote a solid understanding of the actual situation of women, to raise awareness that gender issues and concerns have to be integrated into development policies, plans, and strategies, to make recommendations on problems requiring immediate attention in the field of women's rights, to advocate for implementation of international agreement measures for the advancement of women. The government of Zimbabwe has shown commitment in achieving women's empowerment through the signing and the ratifying of a number of regional and international conventions and protocols that aim to promote and acknowledge the rights of women and achieve gender equality. These conventions include Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CADAWA, and this convention, the sixth report of this convention has just been approved by Cabinet for Zimbabwe to submit its report to this UN body. Protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, on the Rights of Women, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, International Convention on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, Convention on Civil and Political Rights. There is also an Equal Remuneration Convention, ERC, Dakar Platform for Action, Beijing Declaration of 1995, SADC Declaration on Gender and Development with its addendum on the prevention of and eradication of violence against women and children, the Millennium Declaration of 2000, and the SADC Protocol on Gender and Development. Zimbabwe is committed to economic equity, which is emphasized in the Constitution. The target for economic equity is threefold. In Zimbabwe, these are equal participation in economic policy formulation and implementation by women, equal access to benefits and opportunities in trade, entrepreneurship, and wage employment, equity and equality in the control of productive resources such as land. Further, the government of Zimbabwe has followed up its support through affirmative action laws and policies. These include the Domestic Violence Act, the Sexual Offences Act of 2001, Legal Age of Majority Act of 1982, the Labor Relations Act of 1984, etc. National Gender Policy of 2004, and the National Gender Policy. Zimbabwe pursued a number of gender-responsive economic policies and programs, most of which made a specific reference to economic empowerment of women. Some of these are in the Zim Asset, the Gender Responsive Economic Policy Management Initiative, the Broad-Based Women's Economic Empowerment Framework. And I'm sure you also are aware that we are going to be launching a special women's microfinance bank. Government of Zimbabwe supports women's economic empowerment in line with these and with the growing body of evidence that shows that gender equality significantly contributes to advancing economies and sustainable development worldwide. Despite these efforts, there remains a yearning gap between Zimbabwean men and women in terms of access and control over resources, opportunities, and decision making. There is need to emphasize on paving the way forward instead of spending too much time and energy, as well as debate on the constraints facing women. Time has come for us to act rather than just talk. In cognizance of the fact that between 70 and 80% of the Zimbabwean women reside in rural areas, this year we have taken a paradigm shift and have decided to take the International Women's Day to the rural woman, for them to understand and appreciate the importance and their recognition and the importance of these commemorations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by inviting you to this year's international celebrations, which will be held on the 8th of March 2018 in Matabeleland North Province in Inkai District at the Gweluchena Development Center, starting at 9 o'clock. At the launch, after the launch, provincial, district, and ward celebrations will be organized to honor the woman. I therefore invite all Zimbabweans from all walks of life to be part of these commemorations. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. According to our program, we may want to raise. So with your permission, can I invite any clarifications that you may want to seek with the Honorable Minister?
Thank you. I was very clear.
Thank you. Yes, there is one there. Yes, sir.
My name is John Kassim from Sithembiso. Honorable Minister, there are so many conventions and protocols that you alluded to that Zimbabwe the Zimbabwean government is committed to upholding. But with regards to the patriarchal approach towards women's rights, for instance, the recent talk of Elizabeth Changrai's abuse by the Changrai family, she's not the only person. There are so many women like that, but this is one of the famous women, and some women are dying silently. What is the government doing with regards to the issue of inheritance?
I think there is a law that clearly states how inheritance needs to be handled. But then people don't follow that. I think women need to be aware that there is an inheritance law. And my ministry has gone round to educate people, to explain to people about family laws. And we hope that a lot of people need to have access to that. And as women, I think we need to know which are the laws that we can use when we get victimized by families. This is not just the Tsvangrai family. This is common. There are people that think that their brother's property is their property, or their children's property is their property. It's not so. When somebody is married, let's go back to the Act, to the Inheritance Act, and use it to ensure that women are accorded their own rights. I think there is a law that protects women, so she will be free to use it.
My name is Rebecca Tumapines. I'm a freelance journalist. Referring to the same issue of Elizabeth Tsvangirai and many other women, why is it that the Women's Affairs Ministry is always mute when such incidences happen? No press statements. I mean, everybody's quiet. Even the women NGOs are quiet. Can you comment on that?
Yes, I think your point is taken. We need to really be responsive. And sometimes when it's a private incident like this, you need to do your homework so that when you comment at the advantage, not at the disadvantage of women. But your point is taken. We need to do more to be on the side of women that go through such experiences.
My name is Nyoni from Sport FM Radio. I did seem to pick any specific attention being given to the respect of women's rights in the context of the upcoming harmonized elections. Was it an oversight of perhaps it's just not in the context of this nominations?
I think women have got rights to stand for any election. And I'm sure you are aware that yesterday we launched a 50-50 campaign that we need to ensure that the next election there need to be 50-50 men and women. And we also have our own manifesto that is going to help women that will be standing for elections. So the women are active, especially our women in parliament, the parliamentary caucus and the parliamentary portfolio for women and youth affairs. They are active in trying to sensitize and educate women and encourage them and give them the support they need so that they become part of the election process.
Probably as just a clarification to the person, I didn't specifically mean women standing for positions, but we have seen, for example, even on social media, at one political rally where women, you feel they are abused because they are made to kneel in the air while the leaders of the political party represent is actually arriving. Such treatment of women ahead of the elections.
Yes, I think those political parties that do that, they need to explain why. Is it the women who volunteer to do that to respect their leader? Or are they forced to kneel down to respect their leader. If the women volunteer to do that, then we need to have a debate with them. They need to explain why they do that. And if they are forced to kneel before a leader, I think we need also to intervene. It's not right to force people to be so humiliated. But if they volunteer to do it, it's their right to respect their leader the way they want. But as a Minister of Women and Youth Affairs, I would not support any political leader or any political party forcing women to kneel down or to be humiliated.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Matambo Ngoma from Zim Online. As a minister, what are you doing to complement the Minister of Health to talk about issues about to do with cancer? The figures are scaling. As a minister, what are you doing?
I think we are working very hard, especially to support the First Lady. You know, before the First Lady went on the media about cancer, nobody was really talking about it. We are in support of what the First Lady is doing, and we also do advocacy to make sure that women go to clinics, go to hospitals, they get examined early so that the cancer is detected early. But we need really to do more. It's not just the ministry. I think all organizations, and it is a responsibility of all citizens to make sure that we support women and we encourage them to go for early detection of cancer. There are lots of women's organizations. Let's hold hands, let's support women together, not leave just the responsibility to government.
Maybe we take the last one. Yes.
Yes, I attended the conference yesterday where the 50-50 manifesto was launched, and one speaker mentioned the fact that in order for a woman to, she actually said it would be very difficult for a woman to venture into the political space because women don't have resources.
Yes.
And she actually said when she won the parliamentary seat in year 2000, she had sold so many, most of the furniture, borrowed money here and there, and at some stage she had to walk on foot. So what is the ministry doing to empower women who are wishing